Hey everybody, welcome to week 6, the Pantheon Project. So, for this week you don't have any new vocab words or lecture, just make sure that you got the ones from last week to get you started on this. But this week you'll have 3 days with me. It's an unusual 3 red day week. That's happening just because of the way the schedule shook out. So, on Monday, Thursday, and Friday, you should be in class with me, and I look forward to working with you on this project. To get you started, in case you missed a day or just need a review, go ahead and pop open the Pantheon Project from the Google Classroom now. I'm going to walk you through the basics of what we're going to be doing each day and what you need to do in order to have a great grade on this project. All right, so when you open up the Pantheon Project, you're going to get a page that looks like this. It'll have the Pantheon Project up at the top, and it'll remind you that you're going to learn about a group of gods, their defining traits, where and when they were worshipped, who worshipped them, and how they were structured. It lays out for you what the presentation needs to include. All of that's right there on the front page, along with what you can see right here, a few resources to help you get started. This includes the slides that I gave you back from week 5, or you can watch the video version of that. It also includes excerpts directly from the textbook that we would be using if we were in person in this class. But then, in addition, I've included crash course world myth videos for the Egyptian, Greek, and Norse pantheons. Now, these are by a man named Mike Rignetta, and they're really fantastic versions of how these pantheons are set up, the important gods, how their stories of creation come to be. So, check out the crash course video for your pantheon, whether or not you wind up using that as one of your sources. In addition, I also tried to help get your research started by giving you an example of the kind of website you might use for Egypt, for Greece, and for Norway. So check out those. If you'd like to use them, you're welcome to. If you'd rather do your own research, of course, you're encouraged and welcome to do that. But whatever you use, make sure that you hang on to the websites or the books that you found so that you can use them in your citation of sources. Okay, the very bottom of this I'll go over really quickly now. Okay. Thursday was the day that we covered the basics about pantheons in a lecture, and I gave you a chance to give me some feedback about what pantheon you would be most interested in. Monday, we're going to begin our research. So I'll start walking you through these slides in just a moment to know what kind of research you'll be doing, but you'll be doing that on your own. All of these are individual projects. On Thursday, you're going to get back together in class and share your information with other people who are studying the same pantheon. Now again, this is still an individual project. You'll still get individual grades, but this is a good opportunity for you to share information. It's also just a good opportunity to check yourselves, see if there's somebody else who did it better or more interestingly than you did, and try to make yours look a little bit better than it was. That's all. It's a chance to help each other. Finally, on Friday, you're going to share with mixed groups. That means we'll take just a little bit of time for you to talk with people from other pantheons, people who studied the Egyptians if you were in the Greek, or people who studied the Norse if you were studying the Egyptians. You'll share with everybody, so you'll get a chance to learn at least just a little bit about all 3 pantheons before we're done. Okay, let's get started. If you click on that first slide, it'll take you into a page that looks like this. It's pretty simple and straightforward. I tried to make sure to include a template for all of the information that you need. You'll start with a title page. What is the pantheon you're covering? What's your name? As it says in here, make sure that you delete these prompt texts when you're all done, because you want this to look like a finished final project of yours, not like you just filled in the blanks for me, even if that's what you're doing. Also, don't miss it. At the bottom of this one, you'll see a citation of sources. You need at least 2. Again, you're welcome to use those sources that I gave you right here on the first page, or you can find your own. But whichever you do, make sure that you cite those sources using the name of the author, the title of the article, the larger work, the date that it was originally published, the website, and finally the date of access. I'm going to show you what this page might look like finished. Now you can see on this one, I went ahead and got rid of the extra text that said things like Pantheon and name, and instead I've just included those. The Egyptian Pantheon by William Ritter. I found some images to go along with it that I thought looked nice, and then I included citation of 2 different sources. This is the Mike Rignetta video, and Ancient Egyptians, Gods and Goddesses from DiscoveringEgypt.com. Now you'll notice that the Mike Rignetta video, I was able to get all of the information that I asked you for, but the second one doesn't have the name of an author. So you know what? I can just delete that. In addition, it didn't have the date of original publication, so I can delete that. Anytime you don't have that information, it's okay to move to the next thing that you do have. I did have a title, a larger work, and a website, and then, of course, the date that I accessed it. So I put all of that information together to make sure that I had a clear and accurate set of citation of sources. In addition, you can do fun things like if you'd like to, you could choose a background. I did a Google search for sand, for example, and just inserted that as my background, and that made this a slightly more interesting cover page. Okay, once that's done, you can move into the next page, the first piece of real research. The first research you're going to be doing is into the primary deities, who are the main gods of your pantheon. Now, I only need you to give me 4 primary deities. Your pantheon might include 10 or 12 or 100 different gods, and that's okay. You don't need every single one. If you'd like to include a longer list with just the names, that'd be fine too, but still make sure you give me details of about 4. For this set, I included Amun or Ra, or Amun-Ra, Hathor, Geb and Nut, which I included as one group, and Anubis. So that's 4 or 5 gods that I've given some basic information about here. In addition, just like I did on that cover page, I'm going to delete these prompts because I want this to look like my work. I'm going to go ahead and center this one as well because I want it to look nice. And if I wanted to, I could change the font, I could make it a different color, I could do all kinds of interesting things with it there. I want the final result to look like I put some time and thought into it instead of just filling in the blanks as quickly as possible. Okay, so that's my primary deities. After that, I'm going to go ahead and move into the hierarchy and structure. This is where you might include something like a family tree. You might give information about which god was held as most important and how the gods were structured in some way. Also, including visuals on all of these pages is great. After hierarchy and structure, you'll move into the cultural context. Now, I gave you a lot of information about this back on last Thursday, but you can still find more of your own. Give me the basics. You might include, as I did here, a chart that shows how the caste system for ancient Egypt was set up. You might include pictures or illustrations of what life might have been like for those ancient peoples, and then give the information in your own words here. If you choose to use the exact words of one of your sources, that's fine. Just make sure you set it up and include a quotation. Finally, stories and fun facts. You can choose to have just one or the other or both. You can split any of these groups into multiple slides if you'd like, but I went ahead and set up where I might put a story, for instance, about how Osiris became the king of the underworld, and then how I might set up some fun facts on this side. Did you know that Egyptians invented toothpaste? Things like that. After you've gotten all of the information about your own pantheon, and you've gotten a chance to talk about it with other people who studied that same pantheon, then finally on Friday, we'll take a chance to talk to people who studied the other pantheons, and that's when you'll fill out this last page. It'll have a compare-contrast, so you'll get a chance to talk about what was unique about the Egyptians, the Greek, and the Norse, and then also what made all 3 of them similar. What did they have in common? So we'll get some basic information from all of your classmates, and then we'll come together and talk about this as we finish up this last slide together on Friday. And that will about wrap us up. You can take a look at the very last slide here, which will show you the rubric and how you'll be graded. And that'll be it for the Pantheon Project. I hope this gives you a lot of good information about what you need to do and how you can get the score that you're looking for on this project. And also, more than anything, I just hope that you have fun doing this research. I nerd out about mythology, I have a lot of fun, and every year I learn things from my students that I didn't know before. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you find and what new information sparks your interest about the Egyptians, the Greeks, and the Norse. Okay, until I see you in class, take care.